Everyone, welcome to English class. Dear students, as you know that we have started chapter number 8, Fire, Friend and Foe, and today we will continue with this chapter. So let's talk about the chapter. We had read about fire is a good servant and a bad master, and fire generates through a chemical reaction, and oxygen, carbon and heat are required for generating fire, and we can use fire in different ways. So as now you can open the page number 115, one para, and next is on 116. So look at the page number 115 at the last. Just as three things are needed to start a fire, there are three main ways in which a fire can be put out. In each one of the three things needed for burning is taken away. So means if we require three things, right? Oxygen, carbon and heat to generate fire. So similarly, there are three different ways in which we can put out the fire. Okay, and in each one of the three things needed for burning is taken away. Means if we need three things, then if we take away any one thing, then the fire can be put out. For example, we can take away the fuel. Fuel is necessary. We can take away the fuel. If the fire has no fuel to feed on, no burning can take place. We often let a fire die out simply by not adding more fuel to it. Right, as you can see, if we have fuel and if we not add any more fuel to the fire, then it will not go into more flames. Okay, so if we want to put out the fire, right, or if we want to stop the fire, then it is one way is to just take out the fuel. Don't supply the fuel to the fire, right? So we often let a fire die out simply by not adding more fuel to it. Okay, so similarly, when we just off the knob of the gas stove, then in this way we can what, stop the fire, right? Next, the second way of putting out a fire is to prevent oxygen from reaching it. No supply of oxygen means no fire. Small fires can be put out or smothered with a damp blanket or a sack. This stop oxygen reaching the burning material. Sometimes carbon dioxide is used to extinguish fire. It doesn't allow oxygen to reach the burning material. So here is a second way. So what does it mean? Means here's the word smothered, with the meaning is given like suffocated or lack of air. And extinguish, obviously I think you know the meaning. Extinguish means put out. So what happened, they are telling about the second way, and is to prevent oxygen from reaching it, as oxygen is also required to burn fire. Then if we stop supplying oxygen to the fire, then it will not burn. And I think you have done the experience, like if you on the burning candle, if you put a glass, then it will put out, right? Because you had stopped the supply of oxygen. So similarly, no supply of oxygen means no fire. Small fires can be put out or smothered. Smother means suffocated, or make them put out with a damp blanket, right, or a sack, because they are so thick that they don't supply oxygen to the fire. This stops oxygen reaching the burning material if you put damp blanket over it. Sometimes carbon dioxide, CO2, is used to extinguish fire because it also not allow oxygen to reach the burning material. So if we stop supply of oxygen, then we also can stop burning the fire. And for this we can use a damp blanket, a sack, or use carbon dioxide to stop supplying the, yes, oxygen to the burning fire. Next, the third way of putting out a fire is to remove the heat. If the temperature can be brought down below the flash point, the fuel stops burning. You blow on a burning matchstick or candle to put it out. In doing so, you remove the hot air around the flame, bringing down its temperature below the flash point, and the candle goes out. Sometimes water is sprayed on a fire. It absorbs heat from the burning fuel and lowers the temperature. The blanket of water also cuts off the supply of oxygen and the fire is extinguished. So, the third thing is required for fire is heat. And when we remove the heat, we can stop fire, right? So how, like, if the temperature can be brought down, as you can see, we had read about the flash point. Okay, the kindling temperature of the material means at which temperature it will start burning. Okay, so when we when we slow down the uh, temperature, okay, so when the temperature brought down below the flash point, suppose its flash point is 110 and you just brought down the temperature till 90, then it will stop burning, right? So you blow on a burning matchstick with your mouth when you blow on, or a candle to put it out. Obviously, similar, simply you use your mouth to pour down the fire on the candle and the matchstick, right? So in doing so, you remove the hot air around the flame, bringing down its temperature below the flash point. Okay, so when you blow from the mouth on the matchstick, it will stop burning because you, with the help of that air, you just remove the hot air, you remove the heat. Okay, and sometimes water is sprayed on a fire. We also use water, right? So it absorbs heat, okay, from the burning fuel and lowers the temperature. With the help of water also, we can put out the fire because it can bring down the temperature of the burning fire. The blanket of water also cut off the supply of oxygen. Okay, so if we are putting the water, then we can just absorb the heat. The water can absorb the heat. Similarly, it can also stop the supply of oxygen and the fire is extinguished. So we can say the fire water is the best thing to put out the fire. Okay, most of the time we use it. And yes, don't try to do this at your home, it can be risky. Next, some fires. See, dear students, I am reading on the same page, page number 116. You can find the para on this page, last para of this page. Some fires cannot be put out with water. If water is sprayed onto an oil fire, the oil will float to the top of the water and continue to burn. This can be very dangerous because water can flow quickly, carrying the burning oil with it and spreading the fire. Water should or not also not be used on fire caused by electrical appliances. The person spraying water might receive an electric shock and be killed. A carbon dioxide extinguisher is the best thing to fight an electrical fire. So, dear students, fire can be of different things, and yes, water is not be the best method to put out the fire or every kind of fire, right? Yes, if we want to brought down the flashpoint, then we can use, but in some ways we cannot use, right? Like if we fire can be put out carbon dioxide extinguisher not by water, like on out fire on and on electrical appliances. Okay, so if we talk about the oil fire, right, the oil will float to the top of the water. If you if you throw water on the oil fire, then it will not stop burning. Then what will happen, the burning oil will float on the water. As water will go in the direction, the okay, because it is a running thing. Water can't stop in somewhere. If it is going in the downward direction, the oil will float on the same water, and yes, the fire can be spread, right? So this can be very dangerous because water can flow quickly and oil fire will be on it, carrying the burning oil with it and spreading the fire. So water will be helpful in spreading the fire, not put out the fire. Water should also not be used on fire caused by the electrical appliances. Suppose if sometimes you have seen, you have heard in the news, like because of electric short shocks, one get dead, or there was the fire because of the electrical appliances. So in this short circuits, right? So in this kind of fire, you shouldn't use the water, because if you are throwing water on the electrical appliances, in the same way you can get electrical shock. Okay, so the person spraying water might receive an electric shock and be killed, because water is also very easily carry the electric electricity. So a carbon dioxide extinguisher, okay, is the best thing to fight an electrical fire. I think you all have seen the extinguishers, some in every place, and especially in public places you can see the extinguishers cylinders. Okay, these are the fire extinguishers, and these are your best method to put out the fire, which are because of uh, which are caused by the electrical appliances. So we had seen the fire, how we can put out the fire. If we use three things to burn the fire, similarly we can remove the fire by take away the same three things. Okay, so next is on the page number 117. We spend millions of rupees each year in fighting fires, and we spend more trying to find new ways of preventing fires from happening and getting out of control. On the whole, we have learnt rather well to control fire and put it to good use in our everyday life. So, dear students, if we talk about the money and fighting fires, then every year we spend millions of rupees. Okay, because fire can be uncontrollable in any area, especially in the driest forest area. If it is hottest area and it is the forest, dry leaves are there, then it can cause forest fires. And if we talk about the forest fires, or because of electric shocks, somewhere fire is burst out, then obviously we have to spend millions of rupees. But and yes, and we spend more trying to find new ways of preventing fires, okay, and from happening and getting out of control. Means how we can get out of this fire. Yes, if it is it is dangerous, right? And it can cause loss of life and loss of many things. So we are trying to find new ways, so how can we prevent ourselves from the fire? On the whole, we have learned rather well to control the fire and put it to good use in our everyday life. Rather, we have used fire in our daily life, and how we can use this fire in a good way, right? As we are using it in our kitchen. Okay, similarly, we are using the fire in many shops, it is used, and like in the goldsmith shop the fire has been used. So similarly, as we are finding the solutions to put out the fire, on the other hand we also have find the ways in how we can use fire in a good way. Okay, because it is also a very useful thing if it is under the control of the human being. Okay, so here is the end of for today only. So keep reading the chapter. Thank you.